Opposite 10 mile whip. Yeah. Double cup, nigga know what I sell.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford. And we're back for another one. Or you can call me E.S. Red. Alright, y'all, new topic for today. It is hot outside. They turned the heat back on. It's hot outside. Alright, y'all, we got a new topic for today. Say what? Terence Crawford almost signed. Why Bud Crawford fans are delusional about the Errol Spence Jr. contract. Alright, y'all, so we all know what's going on with the state of this fight. But, of course, you know, there's always an opposing view to everything. All the news that gets dropped, there's always an opposing view to whatever news is dropped. And a little bit of new news came out today. A little bit of new news. It's kind of repetitive news, but it's an issue I wanted to address. So I'm going to take this time to address it. Delusional fans. And Terence Crawford fans, to be specific. But I think a lot of sports fans, boxing fans, they're delusional when they lose. They're delusional when something doesn't go their way. If a call happens and it happens to swing the momentum of the game, you become delusional about the call. Sometimes it has evidence to go along with it. Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes it's not. But I feel like in this situation, Terence Crawford fans, to be specific, are extremely delusional about the state of this fight. Because every time I look up, you know, I'm seeing somebody report that Terence Crawford nearly signed, almost signed, the fight's nearly done, it's almost done, Terence Crawford's about to. And I'm trying to figure out myself, what does nearly signed or almost signed actually mean? What does it mean when you almost sign a contract or nearly sign a contract? Either the contract is signed and the fight is good to go, or it's not. Because anything that's in the middle is you're trying to justify whatever thought that you're having at the moment. And a lot of these thoughts are delusional thoughts by Crawford fans because they don't want to admit he's the reason that this fight is not happening. He's the reason this fight has not been announced. He's the reason that the fight terms, they can't come to grips with the term. He can't come to grips with the terms of the fight. He can't come to grips with the fact that he's not the A side. He can't come to grips with the fact he doesn't deserve the majority of the money. He can't come to grips with the fact that he's not the unified champion of the world. He just can't come to grips with the circumstances of how this fight is ultimately going to come together, if it comes together. And his fans are the embodiment of his delusional state. His fans truly believe that this fight is almost signed. His fans truly believe that this fight is almost done. But it's funny, every time I see one of these videos, and you know, I'm like everybody else, I fall for the clickbait sometimes. But I be knowing, I'm like, man, this ain't true. Because I can just go, pro tip for all you bloggers in training. If you want to find out some real news, don't go to YouTube. Don't go to YouTube for it. Google is your best friend, or ESPN. When you see it officially announced on Google and or ESPN, or both of them officially announced it, you can bet your bottom dollar that the news is true. Now, when you see it on YouTube, 9 times out of 10 it's for views, you know, because this is what I see from a lot of these Crawford bloggers. We'll call them that. Delusional Crawford fans, but Crawford bloggers, we'll call them that for that. This is what I see from the Crawford bloggers. Okay, they'll put out a video because they want to save face. You know, they don't want the egg all over their face, but it's already there. So they'll put out a video. It'll be called "Wow" or "Breaking News: The Terence Crawford fight is almost signed. The Crawford contract, the Errol Spence contract is almost signed, nearly signed, almost done, nearly done." And then you click on the video, you watch for a few minutes, they're rambling on about nothing, and then they get to the meat of the topic. And what do they always say? Well, this fight is 90% done, but there's something holding it back from being completely signed, and it's the money. It's the money. Something that I told y'all about like 3 weeks ago when all of the talk came out. When Errol Spence first dropped the news, this is about a month and a week ago now. When he first dropped the news that there was a contract out there, all the Crawford fans were delusional that a contract even existed. They did not want to admit that a contract existed. And then, like a week later, we got the rebuttal from, a week and a half later, we got the rebuttal from Terence Crawford. He came out with his tweet. Y'all believe, blah, 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 blah. And then that allowed for Terence Crawford fans to try to save face at that moment. So instead of them just admitting that, you know, Terence Crawford doesn't want this fight really, he don't want the smoke at the price point, and he's the reason that the fight's being held up, and he could easily just sign it and we can make this fight tomorrow. Instead of doing that, they say stuff like, the fight's nearly signed and it would be signed, but the money's not right. The money's not there. This is something I reported on the week after Errol Spence actually dropped that news, and nobody, you know, I'm not a small blogger, so nobody listens to me really. But then it wasn't a week after I started saying these things, other people have started saying the exact same thing I was saying. Well, the money's not right. The money's really not there. I told y'all it wasn't a super fight because the money wasn't there yet. Super fights, the money's already set. It's ready to go. There's no doubt in these people's mind that they're going to recruit that money. This fight is weird because there's money there. There's super fight money there. We don't know the specific dollar amounts yet, but we do know that Terence Crawford feels like his share isn't enough for a super fight. And, you know, the same way he's delusional about the amount of titles he has, Errol Spence has 3, he has 1, but for some reason this is a 50-50 fight. Now, you can call it a 50-50 fight with the talent, but it's not a 50-50 fight with the money. And that's where the delusion starts at, is that people want to call this a 50-50 fight, and in Terence Crawford fans' mind, a 50-50 fight means everything is 50-50. And that's where the delusion begins. And then it ends with this contract situation, because at first they weren't admitting that there was a contract. Now at least they admit that there's a contract, but the reason he doesn't want to sign is because of the money now. And it's just crazy, man. It shows the delusional state of not only boxing fans, Terence Crawford fans to be exact, but boxing fans in general, sports fans, you know, bloggers, whatever you want to call these people, is that the fact of the matter is that they just want to save face at this point. You know, Crawford fans, Crawford bloggers, they just want to save face at this point. Errol Spence is the unified champion of the world. Errol Spence is the draw. Errol Spence has the pay-per-view numbers. Errol Spence gets to dictate the fight. Now, this is something I've never been a fan of, you know, especially having to go through the Mayweather years and the way he did fighters and the way he did Pacquiao, because ultimately I'm a Pacquiao fan, and the way he did Pacquiao, it wasn't right at all. The way he dictated and put all type of stipulations into that fight, that's not right in the sport of boxing. This is the reason that boxing needs a different system, whether it's a tournament style system or whether it's overseers to come in and start putting their own rules into these fights. Like, you know, these fights have to be fought at in a certain manner, in a certain matter of time, and for a certain purse, you know. Until they start doing that or going into a tournament style, boxing is going to be forever and a day ruined, you know. And you're always going to have these delusional fan bases. It don't matter really who wins this fight or loses, you know. Boxing fans at the end of the day win if this fight comes together. But in the meantime, you know, you have people falsifying reports, putting out fake news to get clicks, and basically living a delusional lifestyle. And it's sad that people even follow somebody like that. How could you follow somebody who's obviously delusional and who just won't admit what the truth is? You know, I'm trying to bring people the truth and the real of the sport of boxing, and keep it 100% straight boxing talk, you know, and an open conversation for people to have. Not that I'm dictating to you or that I'm trying to sell you some false narrative just for your click. No, I want what comes out of my mouth to be the truth. That way, when you do go argue with somebody you know is not preaching the truth about boxing, you're going to win that argument every time, man. I think I'm going to end it there for now. Let me know what y'all think, man. Say what? Is the Terence Crawford fight almost nearly maybe signed? Did he almost nearly? What does that even mean to y'all? Let me know down in the comment section. And are the Terence Crawford fans delusional about the Errol Spence Jr. contract? Hit that like button for me. Subscribe. Share. Tell a friend. All that good stuff, man. Hit me up on all the social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So you're more than likely to get a response on the tube than any other social media platform, man. It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me, and I think we are.
Pulling up where I got beef at. 6 shots where niggas sleep at.